Now the final step that you need to take in phase 2 of submitting any assignment is to check your work. And I do mean check your work carefully. Begin by checking the title of the email that you sent, or the subject of the email that you sent. Make sure that it has MRP, all three of those in capital letters. Make sure that there is a space after MRP. Make sure that the word assignment has an initial capital A on it. Make sure that there is a space after assignment. Make sure that the number of the assignment 2 is expressed as 2 digits, 02. Make sure that there is a space after that. Make sure that there is a hyphen. Make sure that there is a space after the hyphen. And make sure that you have both your first name and your surname given there. In fact, I use the title of an email message bearing an assignment to me as a touchstone. In fact, if I find that there is any flaw in the title of the email, 99 times out of 100 there is something horribly wrong with the assignment itself, as many years of experience in teaching this class have shown. So if you don't have the right subject for your title for your email, you probably have errors elsewhere. For heaven's sake, people, check your work carefully. Now the next thing to do, of course, is to open your email that you have sent and have a look at it. You've already checked the subject for it and seen that it's all right. If not, you're going to need to take note of it and change it before you submit it again. The next thing to do is to make sure that you have the correct file name. It's MRP assignment 02.doc. Okay, if it does not come up as .doc, if it has an X at the end of it or it's some other extension, you have it stored in the wrong format. So you have to go back and you have to store it again. Make sure that the title of the file is exactly as you see it expressed here. Capital MRP, no space, assignment, no space after that, 02, no space, .doc. Also check the size of it. The size of it should be around 41 kilobytes. It's a little bit larger than the old form was, about 41 kilobytes. If it's larger or smaller than that, by any great number, it means that you've done something terribly wrong with it. Now, you'll need to take a look at the assignment itself. And these are all the steps that I would take when I examine assignments, and I am asking you to do these very same things. So open your assignment next and get ready to examine the assignment in the same way that I would. I would examine it right from beginning to end, examining the elements exactly as in the order that you type them onto the form. And within half an hour or so, we will probably have the form available to us so that we can examine the assignment. Hopefully it won't take a full half hour, but you know, such things do happen. Okay, we're getting some action now. Okay, let's take a look at the form. The first thing that you had to do was to adjust the date to reflect the current date. Make sure that it reflects the current date. Make that change. If you have had to change your topic, make sure that you have that indicated here. It's quite disturbing if I find a topic presented here that is different from the one that I see represented in the bibliography. And that's the next thing that I will take a look at. Make sure that you have the surname of the author. Make sure that you have the author's first name, and if there's an initial in it, make sure there is a period after that initial. Here you see the form that you would use if you had more than 2 authors for it. It has the et al. In it. If it were just for 2 authors, let me go back to this here because I left out that S one time there. Make sure that you have a comma after it, and then the name of the second author given there. Okay, like this here, if there were 2 authors for it. Make sure that you always have a period after the initial, and if you have to use the word and, make sure that there is a period before it. If there is a second author, and make sure that the second author's first name comes first and that the second author's surname comes second. And if it is one of those situations in which there is more than 2 authors, make sure you have et al. After it, but make sure you have that comma there after the person's first name. Make sure that your title is correct. Again, if you have one of those unusual long titles that doesn't seem to flow properly, write to me about it. I'll show you what punctuation you need, what sort of capitalization you need for it. It certainly will be worth your while to do so. Make sure that you have an actual city for this, that you have the publisher expressed properly, that you have the date properly expressed. Same thing with the article from the New Grove Dictionary of Music and Musicians. Last surname, first name, title of the article. Again, make sure no numbers and no dates in these titles. Next thing, volume numbers, only Arabic numerals and only the volume number, absolutely nothing else in it. You'll get the form returned to you and you'll lose plenty of points, perhaps all of the points for it, depending on my mood at that moment. Make sure that you have the proper date in there. Don't have the default date, which I think is 1945 for all of these things here. That does not work very well. Make sure that you have the first and the last page number, and that if you have 3-digit page numbers for both the first and the last page, make sure you delete the first digit of the second number. Again, with whatever source you're using, whether it's the New Oxford or the Oxford Companion, make sure that you have the correct surname for the author, the correct first name, and so on. Just think about those things that you've seen before here. Make sure you have the title of the article properly expressed, no numbers and no dates. Make sure that you have the correct date copied down here and the correct page numbers for it. And the final thing is to make sure that you have these subtopics put down. Your first subtopic in section 8, second one in section 9, and your third subtopic in section 10. It really is worth your while to check through it. I don't mind getting multiple submissions of the assignments from you. What I do, if I have multiple submissions, I simply delete the first one and I look at the second one, so you don't have to blush at all about it. It certainly is worth your time to check this very, very carefully, because you want to get the maximum number of points out of these assignments, and you want to do them only once. Please check your work carefully. You will thank yourself for having done so.